Welcome to another episode of Future Included podcast, where we interview interesting people. And today we've got Claudine Adeyemi in the hot seat.
Claudine Adeyemi Adams now.
Adams, sorry. I don't know about a double barrel. We can speak about that another time, to be honest with you. Welcome, Claudine.
Thanks for having me.
Good to see you here and speak with you again. It's been a while since I've actually last seen you.
I know.
But yeah, I'm really interested to learn about your backstory, kind of where you're at today, what you're building, and what your vision is for the future of technology as well.
All of those questions at once?
It's a lot. No, we're going to cover that in today's episode. Claudine's got a really interesting background, really interesting story, really insightful opinions. So, Claudine, tell us a bit about your background up until present day.
Okay, where to start? I'll keep it relatively high level and then we can go into detail if you want to. But my background was in law, as you know, so I was in law for about a decade, at the top of my game, working for one of the best law firms in the country.
And what were you doing in the law firm?
I was a real estate litigator, so in and out of the courts, dealing with commercial and residential property disputes for a range of different types of clients. But alongside my legal career, I'd always got involved in all sorts of initiatives that either kind of I set up or where I was contributing to other things that were going on to really just help people with their careers. There was a big social mobility aspect to all of that work. So it was really looking at people from lower socioeconomic backgrounds, a lot of work with young people, but also kind of entry level and kind of junior talent, mixture of mentoring, workshops, talks, organising insight days, like all of the things basically to try and change the narrative, change the mindset, open up people's minds to the range of different opportunities that existed, not just in law, but just across the board. So yeah, I did that for a number of years in different guises. Got involved in kind of the D&I space as well, so diversity and inclusion committees, working with and consulting for senior leaders of large enterprises where they're kind of figuring out how to even engage talent, yet alone hire and keep them. So got involved in quite a lot of that work, and that led to me becoming a trustee for the Employers Network for Equality and Inclusion, which I now chair.
And were you doing that whilst you're still at Mishcon de Reya? So
yes, I started it back then.
You were juggling lots of responsibilities in different areas.
Always have done.
Wow, okay.
So I did all of that. And then at some point I figured that actually we could reach more people with some of the work that we're doing if we use technology. Did not know the first thing about tech or building an app or anything like that, but built my first app, which was all about trying to kind of break down the barriers to accessing knowledge and information about careers. And that kind of evolved, and I took a sabbatical so that I could focus on it full time, extended my sabbatical, so I ended up being off for almost 2 years, then never went back.
Okay. And just to pause on Mishcon de Reya while she was there, like how tech-enabled was your role? Like, were you using specific platforms that you can like speak about? Like, how much did tech enable your role while she was there?
So back then, it was like the very early days of starting to use tech in the legal space. I think it's advanced a lot now. We weren't really that tech savvy. I created a role for myself as tech champion, and that was me trying to get.
Would you say there was a lot of resistance, like within the legal space, for innovation?
So I think the legal sector is one of those sectors that is just always lagging behind on innovation and any form of advancement. They're usually behind the curve. And so there were some tools like e-discovery tools that we were using, very basic, not like what you can do with certain technologies now. And to be honest, even some of my role was just trying to help them get the most out of like Microsoft products, and just keep teaching like hacks and Outlook and things that you can do in Word that people never thought about, or in Excel and things like that. So it was a learning curve.
Okay, I think we've all felt the pain of like paying for £20 for a letter with a legal firm and all that kind of stuff, right? We've got like spot. There's so much.
You think it was £20?
Efficiencies or whatever we might be paying for. Okay, so you was at Mishcon and then you took this long sabbatical and then you left.
Yeah, left, but then I went in-house to a tech startup.
Okay. So this is a big pivot point, right? Working for a legal firm, leaving, going to a tech platform. Like, what made you make that decision?
So a couple of things. I think at that point I wanted to still work in law. So I was at this startup as Sole Legal Counsel.
Okay.
So I was still practicing.
Yeah.
I wanted to get a taste from the inside of what it was actually like to work in a tech startup, because by this point I knew about what tech startups were, and but wanted to kind of see what it was like on the inside. So it allowed me to develop that knowledge and expertise. So, well, don't know if you can ever be an expert, but at least kind of deepen that knowledge and understanding of what it's actually, what it really takes and what's involved. And yeah, I think it also meant I could earn some cash as well whilst I was still building that first business. So yeah, I did that for about a year and a half, and then I thought I can do this myself. I can run my own startup. Left that, raised my first round of funding a couple of months later. Was building that previous business, and then pivoted to build Earlybird, which is what we're building today.
Got you. So going from legal counsel, legal firm, went to a startup. What sparked what problem are you solving for, basically, is the reason why you've decided to found your business?
So today what we're doing is we are basically transforming employment support. There are 2.7 billion frontline workers around the world working in roles that don't involve sitting at a desk. And if you look at the particularly HR technologies that have been created over the past couple of decades, it's all really focused on people who are sat at their desks on laptops, able to kind of log in and take advantage of all the different benefits that are available and book counselling sessions during their working day and things like that. And people on the front line don't have that ability. The consequence of that is that a lot of these employers find it very difficult to engage with that part of the workforce. And there's high churn, there's high absenteeism. It's just very dysfunctional. But then if you look at the worker, which is what I'm really passionate about, they're not in a position to lead fulfilling lives and thrive in employment. And that's what I really want to change. And so we're building software that enables those individuals to be engaged by their employer or the organisations that are supporting them, and to receive support personally or professionally.
Brilliant. And what's the name of the company?
It's Earlybird.
Earlybird.
Earlybird AI.
If you're an employer and you've got frontline workers, please do check out Earlybird AI. Yeah. I've been a frontline worker myself early on in my career. Yeah. Worked on shop floors, worked in kitchens, etc., etc. And I totally understand the problem you're solving for, right? You're so far removed from the actual employer, communication channels just aren't there, right? And when you've got issues, like, who do you go to? Like, you're just an hourly worker that's coming and going kind of thing. So explain more about the raise and how you've been able to build this platform.
Yeah, so since we pivoted, we've raised again for this business. So did that back in the summer. It took a little bit longer than I anticipated, partly because I had a baby in between. Thanks. So raised $800,000 from a few angels, VCs, and Google through their Black Founders Fund. And that has enabled us to expand the team. So in addition to my co-founder, who's our CTO, who's amazing machine learning engineer, we've been able to hire a couple of engineers so that we can build the product faster, basically, and get the products into customers' hands much faster, which we've been doing. So it's really just about kind of growing and learning as quickly as possible, basically. So that's all going very well.
And in terms of your raise that you've done, like, there's going to be a bunch of questions about this, right? We constantly get questions. I'm an angel and advisor myself. Who did you pitch to? Who did you decide to pitch to? Who did you decide to take money from, not take money from? What was the strategy around that?
So probably a mixture of kind of, I made provision for people in my network who had championed, followed, supported me in my journey. Some of them for many, many years, some more recently. So that enabled us to take smaller tickets, and then we can roll them up in a syndicate. So that was really cool because I was quite big on building like a village of people that were going to be able to support in different ways. So people with different perspectives, different experiences across different industries that can all kind of add their value, whether it's an introduction, whether it's advice on hiring, whatever it is. So it was quite important to be able to open up access to our cap table for that. And then with the VCs, the two main ones, they are impact funds. So that was quite important to have VCs on board who get the ultimate mission of what we're trying to achieve, rather than forcing us to change course just so that we can grow as quickly as possible. So those are the kind of main decisions.
And what were your access points to these VCs? So that, a problem a lot of founders got is, who are the VCs to contact? Like, how did you have warm introductions? How did you find them? Were there any tools or platforms that you leveraged?
So my biggest thing is that as much as VCs will tell you that they're, open to cold outreach and filling in their forms on the website, it's crap. Like, get yourself a warm intro. And actually, there's an element of demonstrating the hustle to be able to get that warm intro. I have found that getting warm intros from other founders is the best way to go. And generally speaking, founders are always happy to help other founders. So I think one of the networks that people forget to build is their founder network. And I think if you've got a good network of founders around you, they can help you with intros to investors and other people.
Good points there for fellow founders that might be listening to this. Let's speak about the product development lifecycle. It's one of the biggest challenges that founders have, building products. What hurdles have you encountered? How is it hiring staff? Any advice that you can share with the audience around that?
Hurdles, the biggest thing is what to build and what not to build. I think you get so many ideas all the time, but it's forcing yourself to go back to what's actually going to create value for the customer. What do they need, like, urgently? What's the nice to have? And really kind of just going on that learning cycle constantly, and holding yourself to account on those areas. So I think that's kind of the biggest thing, which is it just always becomes a challenge, because you get this desire to just build this new feature, and you have to force yourself to say, no, actually, let's go and chat to a couple of customers, check that they even want this feature, we'll pay for it. And then there's the whole piece around, okay, well, if we build this thing, what's going to be the cost to us of building and maintaining that, and how's that going to be reflected in the pricing model, the unit economics even there to enable us to deliver that. So there's those types of things. And then I think it's the kind of velocity of execution piece as well. We've got quite an ambitious product roadmap, so it's just how do you go at 1,000,000 miles an hour, basically. One of the big changes that I made in the business is we implemented OKRs, but we changed our OKR cycle to fortnightly, so that we can increase and maintain the intensity and the momentum, rather than 3 monthly, we're a massive corporate. We're not. Those OKRs are always going to change or whatever. So it's every 2 weeks, the entire company is in a sprint, rather than just on the engineering side. Those are kind of some of the things.
And how is the advancement of AI, new tools, accessibility of new features, services, how's that helped you in the build of Earlybird? Do you feel like you're better equipped and enabled right now versus building it in 2010? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, so I think, generative AI in particular sits at the core of Earlybird. Okay. I often say that, it would have been pretty much impossible, just because of the sheer cost, to have built what we've built if we were trying to do it 10 years ago. So it's been a game changer for us. We jumped on it relatively early as well. So it's given us a bit of a head start amongst anyone else that could be kind of operating in the space, but not many people are, which is great for us. It's been a real game changer. I think for us, we see the advancements as just really exciting, because it just enables us to do more, do things more quickly. And there's so many benefits for our product that sits outside of just the core tech as well. So it's thinking about the network effects, thinking about how you embed yourself in certain workflows and make yourself indispensable to those organizations. So for us, it's just really exciting. And then there's obviously the other side in terms of, well, how can it help us as a business operate better? So using tools to, do code reviews and things like that, so that we're kind of moving faster on that.
Any tools that you might want to call out in terms of what you use within the organization?
So started playing around with Notebook LM, which is very cool. So we're using that a little bit for some content stuff coming up as well.
Okay, so you're doing content creation using Notebook LLM, yeah?
Yeah. So it's coming out. So you'll see.
Okay, little teaser there. What's to come?
And then ChatGPT is pretty much open all the time for me. We've used my co-founder will use things like Cursor
Yeah.
to kind of check for errors in code.
Nice.
I think he uses ChatGPT as well for some of that. So yeah, a bit of a mixture.
Any standard project management tools you guys use? Trello or Notion, anything like that?
Trello's our go-to.
Yeah.
So we haven't started using Notion yet, although I think there is some considerable value in it. Although I have been playing around with Pageless on Google.
Pageless.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's kind of a bit of an imitator for Notion. Don't know if I'm.
We'll check out Pageless. We'll check out Pageless. Okay.
But yeah, so it allows you to kind of do the toggles and like
Okay.
hide certain content and collapse it and things like that. So you can create much more dynamic content through that. And we're Google Workspace users, so if we can keep it all in the ecosystem rather than having to use another tool, that's ideal. We also use Slack and haven't yet delved into all of the different new features from Slack, but they're, I think, trying to do more productivity stuff. So it looks like there could be some stuff there that we could use as well.
Yeah, a lot of automation in Slack. Yeah, it's definitely been useful for my usage of it. Incredible career journey. Lots of gems shared. Really excited about Earlybird and the future of it. What does the future look like for Earlybird and yourself?
Future looks like scaling massively globally to support. Certainly by 2030, you want to be supporting like 50 million frontline workers. So yeah, it's just heads down building as quickly as we can so that we can drive the impact that we want to drive and achieve the scale. Ultimately, obviously want to exit, generate that wealth so that I can then reinvest that in our community, frankly. That's like kind of my why. So yeah, that's the future for us. I think for technology generally, I don't know if anyone can really predict the future, but I personally am biased and think it's really, really exciting time. And I think there's so much to come. And I think that there are enough players in the ecosystem to use the advancements in technology for good to change the world, frankly. So
We love that excitement for technology, and that's all about here at Future Included. Claudine, we thank you for coming on.
thanks for having me.
And hopefully we speak to you soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks a lot.